Hi, my name is Terry Armstrong and I'm with Premier Computing. I'd like to talk to you about two new features of GP 2013. The first is document attachments. The second is the OLE Notes migration utility. Document attachments first became available with the release of GP 2013 in a limited number of windows, but is now available throughout the system with the release of R2. Document attachment replaces the old OLE Notes. It's available on both the desktop client and the web client. Attachments with the document attachment are now saved in the company database. Why is this such a good thing? OLE Notes is an antiquated technology. With OLE Notes, all users must have the exact same setting in their DexINI file to see the same attachment. This is often a problem. The setting was wrong, the setting was never set in DexINI, and people could not see the same attachments. The connection to the attachments is easily broken. This often happens when map drives are changed or when you upgrade to a new server. Also, the notes folder must be backed up and it must be restored to the new folder location once you move the folders in order to see the notes. With document attachments, all users have access to the same attachments with no additional settings. The attachments move with the GP database, and the attachments are automatically backed up as part of the database. You can access document attachments in the same way that you access the old OLE Notes. You'll just want to select the paperclip. At this point, if you have an OLE note, you'll see it as an OLE object, and otherwise you'll just see a document attach. All new documents will be document attachments. Microsoft recommends that you move your existing OLE Notes to the database. They have provided a utility for this purpose called GP OLE Object Migration Utility. The prerequisites for this utility are you have to have access to a GP 2013 client install. You must be or have access to SQL admin user account. And for any of your attachments that you have installed, you must have those executables installed on that client machine where you're running the utility. For example, Adobe Acrobat, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. There are a couple things to keep in mind when you're running the migration utility. The first thing is that some OLE documents may be of a sensitive nature. You're migrating all of this, you're extracting all of this data into a folder. You want to make sure that that folder is in a secure location between the time that you extract and you delete that information. You also want to remember that OLE Notes may be installed in different places in your environment. You want to make sure that you get to all of those places and run the utility. A migration utility has 3 steps. The first is extract the OLE Notes data out to a folder. When this is done, there's a log file that's created. You're going to want to look at that log file to see which files have been extracted and which ones had problems. You're going to do some data maintenance using that log file to move the problem ones into the migration folder. And then third, you're going to import the data into the company database. So let's run that utility. You're going to enter in the SQL instance and your dynamic system database name. First thing we're going to do is extract our data. You're going to choose the DexINI file. We're going to point to where the data will be extracted. You have the option to delete the OLE object files from the source location. I would recommend that you do that for two reasons. One, it makes the cleanup easier as you're trying to find the files that failed. And two, they will no longer be in two locations, the OLE objects location and the document attachment location. Okay, we have extracted our data. We see we have some successful and some unsuccessful files. I'm going to go to our migration notes folder. And we want to check out the log file. The log file is going to give us information on which notes were not successfully extracted and why they were not extracted. You can use this log file to do data maintenance to fix the files so that they can be imported. At this point, we're ready to run the utility again. And now we're going to import the extracted files. Okay, let's go back to GP and let's look at our employee attachment. And we now see that it's a document attachment and there's no longer an option for the OLE note. That's the end of this presentation. Thank you for your time. If you'd like any additional information or if you'd like assistance with this utility, again, my name is Terry Armstrong and you can reach me at tarmstrong@premiercomputing.com.